Hey ManCavians, this is Bob from DaBob's ManCave, and today we're going to show you what it's like to leave cooling fluid in your computer water cooling system for 4.5 years without changing it. Four and a half years, guys? Really? It's been that long. I built this computer, water cooled it about a year after I built it, and it's been sitting there for 4.5 years. While I got it tore apart, I got to clean it out, and get better pump, better radiator, change the positioning of everything so it actually flows better, and put a drain system in so I could actually drain it out periodically. I don't have a drain system in it currently, so what I'm going to show you today is what happened when I tore it all apart. And showed you all the little tiny pieces that were dirty, you know, where it got dirty, whether or not it affected my cooling levels at all. You know, did it change anything? It's a long-term experiment, really. And I'm sure a lot of you probably never kept your cooling fluid in there for 4.5 years. Let's go take a look and see what I found when I tore this stuff all apart. Well, the first thing I got to do is drain this water cooling system. All this green fluid in here has to come out, and so it's been in there for about 4.5 years and is making a mess, but it's still doing effective cooling as far as I can tell. And so we're gonna clean this all out. Ooh, made a mess. I'm going to continue taking this cooling system apart. Okay, I just took off that one hose from the pump. You can see all this green Mayhem Pastel stuff just caked up around the barb there. Pretty nasty. That one was pretty tight on there. Well, that one didn't look too bad. It does have some gunk on it, but by the looks of the inside, it looks fairly clean from this point of view. Nothing really in there at the moment, but we'll open this up later. Okay, we're going to take a look at this water block and see what kind of damage, if any, is inside of it after 4.5 years of using Mayhem's Pastel mint green coolant fluid. And so I'm going to break it open and see what I see. Okay, the first thing that I see is the flexible hose that was on here is kind of corroded around the base there. I think it was slightly leaking a little bit initially, and kind of sealed up, and sort of like gunky oil in your engine kind of finds a place to sit and actually acts sort of like a gasket. And so that's basically what that did on that section of hose. And as you can see up close right there, that got pretty gunked up. The other side wasn't so bad. One side is. So let's break open the back here. A little Allen wrench. There we go. Huh. Not terribly bad, but still bad. That's the bottom of the water block where all the stuff is gathering right up around this area, which is right around where the fluid was going through. And it started gunking up. It wasn't, I mean, it's not terribly, it's actually better than I thought it would be. Actually very surprised. I've seen other people having some gunked up stuff, but I mean, this is still fairly clean, but it definitely needed to be cleaned, and you know, kind of getting all that gunk out of there. It's probably going to take a little bit of work, not too much. Get a little toothbrush in there and clean it out. This other side, as you can see inside there, this whole piece here is an insert that is all gunked up in the, that's where all the other gunked up stuff was, right around this seal area. And the fluid's got to come through here and squeeze past all those pins and underneath this seal, and then out through the exit hole over here. It's got just a little bit of buildup down in there, but not too bad. So all in all, it's surprisingly clean. It's not completely gunked up in mud. I was actually getting very good cooling with it, so this is surprisingly clean. Okay, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to use a little trick from Jay's 2 cents and use some Crest or Colgate toothpaste and a toothbrush to clean off this water block. Don't need a lot, you know. Rinse it off with some fresh stuff. As you can see, it looks pretty shiny. Still a little gunk down here. I've had this water block for a really long time, so it's still in good shape. I'm going to clean off this other one too. I'm going to put it all back together, just reassemble it. And it's all back together. One thing you could probably tell from 4.5 years of use, it's pretty gunked up. You know, this used to be clear hose and now it's just plain green. Let's cut one open and take a look. That's what it did to the inside of this tube. Just turned it all kind of white. Had some buildup right in here. Just kind of smearing it, right? Got a little plaque on the inside of my arteries here. And that's basically what it is. It just turned it kind of white, greenish, whatever. Just got some sediment inside the hose. So 4.5 years. I'm surprised it wasn't worse, but that's completely through the system. I'm going to have to clean them all out if I'm going to reuse the radiators again. I'm not sure if I'll use the radiators again, but you never know. They're still good radiators. I'm just not sure how plugged they really are. I'm going to have to really flush them out. Well, I'm guessing this radiator could be used again with some good cleaning, but just looking in the inside, the fittings are not all gunked up on the inside, so it's just probably going to just need a good pressure wash on the inside, running a lot of fluid through it just to clean it out. Maybe some hot fluid, that might work too. Okay, since I took this coolant out of my system, one of the problems that I had heard about is that over time these all-in-one coolants, basically these pre-mixtures of stuff, they change from non-conductive to conductive. When I first put in this pastel fluid, it was non-conductive. At least I think it was. But I'm pretty sure it's non-conductive. But over time, I guess going through all these against the copper and everything else, it eventually becomes conductive. So I'm going to take a look at the test and test ordinary tap water, distilled water, and then this Mayhem's pastel fluid that I had in my system for the past 4.5 years. So let's take a look. Okay, in the blue bowl we have regular tap water. In the Miracle Whip we have some distilled water, and in this pitcher here we have my old Mayhem's pastel green mint liquid. That's been there for 4.5 years. I'm going to use an ohm meter. Put that on, let's say 200K. And as you can see, when I make a connection, the numbers change down to 0. That means a direct short. That means I have solid electrical current going between these two leads. So let's take a look at tap water. Put that in the tap water, and you can see there's a short. I take it out, I have an open. Put it in, I got a short. Regular tap water is conductive. Don't use it in your system. You make a spill, you will get electrocuting your electronics, and you're not going to like that because you're going to have to buy all new stuff. Now let's put it into this distilled water, and it is an open. Okay, it's in there. I know it's in there. No, nothing in there. Let's put it into the pastel, and as you can see, it is conductive. Take it out, put it in, conductive. So bottom line is, tap water is conductive. Distilled water is non-conductive. And the pastel will become conductive over time. Now I haven't done a true distilled water system for a really long time, and I don't know whether or not that becomes conductive over time, but I'm assuming that it will as well. Probably will take maybe 6 months or so to become conductive. So you just want to be careful when you are putting fluid into your system and draining it out. Make sure that you have a good drain system so you don't spill all over the place. You don't want to short out your computer parts and have to go buy a new power supply or motherboard or whatever you spilled it on. So, well, there you go, ManCavians. That's been my long-term test of Mayhem's Pastel Mint Green Fluid. 4.5 years in my system, and it performed great. It cooled my CPU just fine, and I never really had any problems with it. It did evaporate a little bit over time, and I just put a little bit more in there. But other than that, it did a really good job. So, what's the downside? Well, it left a lot of sediment inside the system. It gunked up the hoses, turned it colors. It was a nice clear, rubber hose, but it turned it, kind of greenish brown. It did stain it on the inside. And it also put a lot of sediment in areas that didn't get a lot of fluid flow, like along the edges of the reservoir and so forth, and inside the tubing and inside the radiator. But I never had a problem with flow not happening. And that was a really good thing. I had a really strong water pump, so that probably helped a lot because it was always at full speed all the time. And that probably kept everything really circulating really well. So I give it a 7.5 out of 10 for longevity and everything else. Probably even an 8 for longevity. But you really should replace your fluid every 6 months to a year at the most, and put a drain system into your system so that it's easy to drain out and flush out all the bad stuff out of your system, and gunk that might be built up or whatever. If you like what you saw here today, comment down below, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this on your social media websites. And until next time, ManCavians, stay on your board while surfing the internet. Bye.